Okay, so I want to present you game number one from Timman's Triumph, my 100 best games. Why I present you this game? Because, and this is why we buy books like this one, there are a lot of interesting anecdotes which tell us about these champions, what they were able to do, what they were not able to do. In this game, in this case, it seems Timman show this game on a magnetic pocketbook set just by memory to another grandmaster. So that I find it kind of interesting. Okay, this game was played in Groningen in 1967. Remember that Timman was born in 1951. Okay, so he was just 16. And he says that in May 1974 he became the youngest grandmaster but one in the world. This was because I was the youngest but one of my generation, only making was 1 month younger. And of course, this is the interesting part. With the grandmaster title, my travels around the world intensified. So 1974, you must understand that maybe, I think there were what, 100, 110 grandmasters, or always such a small number. While maybe today there are what, more than 1,200, so clearly the difference is huge, right? But why I'm quoting this? Because he says, so with the Grandmaster title, my travels around the world intensified, tournament victories alternated with disappointments. It was a fantastic profession, a great life, but my discipline wasn't always optimal. Only as late as 1978 did I manage to stabilize my play and push through to the top, to the world top at 26 years of age. Okay? So that's kind of interesting for me. So this game is Laszlo Vadas against Jan Timman, Groningen 1967, and let's see, it starts with knight f3, d5, g3, bishop g4, bishop g2, knight f6, c4, c6. So here there is a diagram because white make a move that is premature. It says c takes d5. This premature exchange does not bring white anything. Crucial is the continuation with knight e5. Okay, and here he gives a line. But why this is not good? Because it releases the tension in the center. You generally don't want to do that right away if there is not an advantage here, okay? So what is the advantage? To give black a square for developing his knight? I don't know. And the knight says, yes, yes. Okay, this knight is funny. And another thing that I noticed before, so c takes d5, queen b3, bishop takes f3. The discipline, he was speaking of discipline. In fact, I think the chess profession is very difficult. You really need a lot of discipline in the sense that you must not be distracted by anything else. Does it make sense? I don't know, because honestly today computers play, also the worst computer engine plays better than the better grandmaster on not even good hardware. So I'm not speaking of hardware that is very, very expensive, something that you can buy at a typical computer shop. So, well, I don't know, it doesn't make much sense to me, right? Bishop takes f3 and queen c8, obviously defending this. But here there is a double attack on this, right? Let's see. It seems that up to that point they played only queen d7 in this situation, in order just to protect this d pawn. However, there is a deeper point behind this move, okay? Black keeps the d7 square open for his king knight in order to bring it to c5 with a gain of a tempo. Okay, if you say so. Knight c3, e6, castle, and knight c6, d3, bishop e7, and e4. The most active plan, which, however, has certain strategic drawbacks. d4. It is a good idea to keep the position close. In fact, it shows a line in which black takes on e4, and it gives a kind of white a small advantage. Okay. Again, it makes sense. You don't open the position without real reason. Knight e2, castle, bishop g2. This means that the white wants to push this pawn. Now, I don't know when, but if he plays this move, this is the next. Okay. Knight d7, so as he said, he wants to go to c5, f4, like I said, knight c5, and queen d1. As we can see, yes, white has a kind of a space advantage in the center, thanks to this, but black is clearly more active. In case you want to know why he didn't play queen c4, well, by the book you will discover it. Okay, queen d1, queen d7. Generally, it's a good idea to connect the rooks. Also worthy of attention was possibility to play a5. Okay, so let's go on. b3, a5, a3. And now there is rook a c8. And here it says black is going to double his rooks on the c file. There was as alternative a4, okay? And here it gives some lines in the book. I think we just want to enjoy it at the moment, right? So let's just enjoy the game. Let's see what happens after rook a c8. Bishop b2. Rook c7, so we want to double. This is consistent, but also here queen c7 came into consideration. So why play queen c7? Not because you want to double with the queen in front, but because you want to go here, okay? That's the reason. Not because you double on that with the queen in front, because that would be horrible. Okay, rook b1. The immediate e5 was more accurate. So this one, because probably it opens the diagonal. Okay, rook b1, rook f c8, e5, and knight a6. The introduction to a strategically sound regrouping. King h1, bishop c5. As you can see, a good thing is also the fact that player of a good level, they try to prophylaxis, which means to avoid what happens next to them. And so he played this king here, maybe because he was afraid something would happen here and move, and so that's kind of interesting too, right? g4, or maybe you want to play rook g1. Knight e7. That was the idea. By withdrawing the knight, black stops the march of a white f-pawn. And at the same time, the double rooks get more space. This idea could have been refined by playing fort b5. So it says instead of knight e7, b5 fort. Okay, and then it gives a line. Okay, queen e1, bishop b6. The critical moment in the game has been reached. Okay, so here there is a diagram. You need to be white and decide what you would play in this position. Here he played rook f3, but it seems that it's too slow. it was better to play f5. And here there are two big lines, A and B, but I have no interest to show. Why? Because they are like 7-8 moves long. So 7-8 moves long, I don't think it's all that easy to calculate in the game. Maybe I'm lazy, you are right, but to me it seems that here he made a big computer analysis to justify f5 instead of rook f3. But again, the problem is, would a human player be able to justify f5 if he's not able to see 8 moves in advance? Probably not. Especially 2 lines with 8 moves in advance, it's kind of big, huh? So let's see what happens after rook f3. Rook c2, rook h3, and knight c5. The regrouping has been accomplished and black has the upper hand now. f5, and now he says too late. He takes f5, queen h4, and here there is another diagram. What would you play as black? Well, since black played rook takes e2, and this says the most convincing way to demonstrate that white's attack is not dangerous. But it was possible also to play h6 strangely, generally a move that you wouldn't think possible. Why? Because it's called a hook, right? Once you have a hook, you attack it. Okay, rook takes e2. This is interesting, right? Queen takes h7, king f8, g takes f5, rook takes g2. Wow! Black could have also captured the other bishop. Let's see. King takes g2, queen d5, king f2, queen takes e5, rook e1, and well, now you are black. There is a diagram. Decide what you would play as black. Don't try to copy from the book, okay? Because that's not right. But there is a nice finish here. Let's see if you can see it. It's knight takes d3, rook takes d3, and rook c2. And here white probably resign. Okay? So why did white resign? You could ask. Because probably he is not able to survive the checkmate that is coming. And try to analyze the lines, but it should be kind of simple. Let's say if he goes here, checkmate here. If he goes here, what does black play? Maybe check. If he goes here, check. And when he goes here, it's checkmate, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this game. The book is interesting because it's divided in periods, okay? He has a chapter, as you can see here, right? We have chapter 1, the road to the top, the blockade, best of the West, etc., etc. But this is the point, that every period is covered, so you can discover the life and games of this great player from the Netherlands. And I hope you will enjoy the book, Timman's Triumphs.